Okay, so if you guys hear like a crackling, is that the word crackling in the background? I have this really neat candle on the ground. Honey mandarin is the smell. And I didn't do this on purpose because I bought them on Amazon. So you know when you buy it, that's the thing about buying on Amazon. Sometimes there are added bonuses or added detriments of a product because you're just seeing a picture. So like you miss the details of seeing it in person and noticing certain things. This is an added bonus, so it's a good thing. The candle that I bought comes with a wooden wick so that it creates on purpose this crackling sound, so you really feel like it's, you know, like a fire burning. Very interesting. So anyway, it's aesthetically, well, not aesthetically, I guess, the auditory experience. It elevates the experience of the candle. But for making videos like this, obviously, it might be a little distracting. So I'll probably put in some song to try to cover it up. And you guys might not hear it at all, in which case this was a waste of the first minute of this video. Anyway, guys, by the way, I noticed looking at previous videos, I haven't had like scruff in a video in a while, which is very strange because I typically have scruff. But for whatever reason, all the recent videos that I made for the past like 3 months or so, it looks like it was always the day or day after I shaved. That's me shaving, that's the motion. Anyway, so it's kind of like a different look. I like my look today. I call this like bohemian, kind of like, look like I'm gonna go paint somebody's house or my own house. Like, I like it, it's very casual. I've been going for this vibe lately with my outfits, especially when I come home from the beach. I've really gotten into like loungewear. Actually, I can show you guys. This is my shorts. Look at my shorts. I don't know if you can tell. The fabric is really light. Oh God, I hope this video doesn't get banned. I feel like somebody might report this and somehow they'll see this. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really come off, but the fabric is, this is from H&M, and it's perfect. Let me make your back up. Okay, never mind. But the fabric is 100% linen. So if you can like imagine that texture, it's perfection. Anyway, so the other day I went to the beach. I feel like that's how these videos always start, these gay epiphany videos. I went to the beach and it was a beautiful day at the beach. And it's been, I would say, since the beach has reopened actually, like the quarantine, lockdown stuff is still happening, coronavirus. That's where you cue the Cardi B audio clip. Coronavirus! Since they reopened the beach, it's actually been like stunningly beautiful. I would say 95% of the time. Like the water is so clear, so clear. I see all the fishies and I feel like I'm like at the Bahamas or something. Like it's so or like Bora Bora, it's beautiful. And I had a day at the beach the other day where I was like, oh, I don't want to go. Like it was like 2 in the afternoon. I was like, I should probably go home. I've been in the sun for hours and like, you know, I should go on with my day. I was like, oh, I don't want to leave because the water's so beautiful. Like what if next time that I come, the water's not as nice? And in that moment, I had like as Oprah says, an aha moment. And I was like, I live here now. Like I'm not just visiting here on vacation, because that would happen to me when I would visit Miami in my early to mid 20s. You know, when the beach was like gorgeous and it was a perfect beach day, I'd be like, oh, like I should stay longer because, you know, I leave tomorrow or whatever. But I had this moment the other day where I was like, even if the next time the water's not as perfectly pristine and clear, there will be other days because I live here now. And I was like, oh, right. Like there's no pressure, like I can come back. And in that moment, I had my epiphany, which is that I realized that a significant portion of my life, maybe all my life, I've lived through this concept of FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I noticed in that moment that it's something that completely guides my thinking with so many other things. That mentality also dictates my relationship with food. Like I realized that is oftentimes how I end up like binge eating or like eating stuff that I really shouldn't be eating. So for example, I have a local bakery that I love here, a French bakery, and you know, they always like switch up the pastries or whatever. And sometimes I'm like, oh shit, like I already had like some really sugary thing today, but like that looks so good and they might not have it tomorrow. So I will get it just because I'm concerned that they might like not have it again, and I have the fear of missing out. And it's the same mentality, right? Like it will be there again. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but like it's not your last chance. Like this is not your last day on earth. And so of course, I also realize that this is how I think when it comes to dating. And something I've really learned over the past year or so is that there really are so many fish in the sea. To make it full circle and go back to going to the beach. That was not intentional, but I just realized it in the moment. No pun intended. There are plenty of fish in the sea. And so every time I think back to like, you know, I'm finishing up my 20s. I turned 29 a month ago. So all of you guys who have been wondering, now you know the secret age of mine. And when I think about my 20s and trying to navigate gay dating and all that, I realized that I oftentimes chased after guys who were not even meeting me halfway because of the fear of missing out. Like this fear that like there won't be another. Like this is it. Like this is the guy that I like. And what if there isn't another? And not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. And I'm now realizing that was that mentality, that mindset, which is really, I guess, like a fear-based mentality. But yeah, it's in the name, fear of missing out, is why I so often have like depleted my own energy in pursuit of things that weren't even necessarily that great, or like guys who weren't even that great, but in the moment I felt like this is the last attempt or something. And I guess, you know, over the years, especially with moving from New York to LA and now to Miami, there are so many fish in the sea, and life is too short to like hold on to something or someone so tightly who's not even giving you what you want back. Kind of like working, I guess, kind of like a job, right? Like sometimes we work really hard at a job and we don't even like the job, but we feel need to impress somebody. And I'm now at an age where I'm like, no, like they should be impressing me too. I had an interview a few weeks back and it was a weird interview. Like it was just, there was a cultural barrier. I will say that, like not just a language barrier, but a cultural barrier. I was talking to somebody through, I think it was Google Hangouts, maybe Zoom. And they were headquartered in China, Shanghai, China. And it was just awkward. Like the flow was really awkward and I could feel it, but I wasn't sure if they felt it too. And then I never heard back from the role. And that insecurity again came to me of like, was I not good enough? Like, like what happened? And then I thought, I wasn't impressed either. Like the flow was really awkward. They didn't really explain to me really thoroughly what the position was. And so this is part of, I think, my learning process as I get older, that like, it's not just about what the other party wants, whether it's dating, whether it's professional life or whatever. It's also what I want and what I want to be fulfilled by. So the day at the beach where I realized that there will be another great beach day, you know, there will be another great dessert or pastry or meal or whatever. It's the same thing with dating. There will be another guy. And I've also been shifting over the past year or so, and I've made a few videos about this. I've been shifting to a different mentality too, where I'm like, I don't need to be completed by a guy, by dating, which is how I really moved away from, like I used to put so much effort in my mid-20s in New York City into dating, and I've stopped doing that. And yet there are still guys who come in here and there through apps or who I meet wherever. I was gonna say bars, but I haven't been to a bar in ages because of the pandemic, because of the quarantine. But I realized like life goes on. Even if I don't chase, opportunities still come forth. Again, like dating wise and just generally, like I'm talking about specifically dating, but I'm applying it to other things in life. So anyway, that was my little epiphany that I had. I think this reminder that I've had, like looking back at the last few years with all the changes in my life, professionally, personally, like from moving so many times, it's a great reminder that like you can always, I've learned firsthand that you can always start over, and people come into your life, things come into your life. There's really nothing to miss out on. In fact, I found that oftentimes things come into your life when you're not even thinking about them, when you're not missing out or feeling that you're going to miss out. So you might as well just like enjoy the ride. I feel like lately, the past few weeks, I keep getting this reminder through, you know, articles that I read or like news headlines that tomorrow is not promised, that saying tomorrow is not promised, especially the Naya Rivera story. Really tragic story. For those of you who are not familiar, this actress who has to be only a few years older than me, she went with her son to a lake in California a week or so ago, and she drowned, just like that. They're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. They think that her boat wasn't anchored, and that with the current the boat started drifting, and that she could only muster the strength to like throw her son on board, and that she drowned. That's what they believe based on what the son said. Her little kid, who's like 4 years old, I think. And you know, this was a woman who, beautiful, talented, wealthy, so she has like what everybody wants, right? Like, you know, financial independence, beauty, youth, family. She has it all, and it was all, I mean, short-lived. In the end, she died. Or all these police brutality stories with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, it makes you realize that like, what's the point of longing for something or having the fear of missing out when tomorrow's not promised anyway? I'm not trying to sound like morbid, but my point is like, it's such a wake-up call to just appreciate what you have and have the patience to understand that like some beautiful things can come into your life when you least expect them, and they might also not come to you. But I guess to just be grateful for what you do have. And I was thinking about all this that day at the beach, and it just like made me more appreciative of having that like living in that moment of just having a wonderful beach day by myself in these beautiful clear waters of Miami, and going home with that sort of like peace and gratitude, instead of like, oh, should I stay longer? Because who knows, I might come back tomorrow and it'll be full of people and full of algae and whatever. So anyway, those are my 2 cents / 200 cents, because that was a rant. But hope you guys are safe and doing well, and I'll catch you next time.